If you continue to do what you do extremely well today, you will not be in business 20 years from now. Thank you for allowing our team of subject matter experts to speak to you about the future of commercial banking. Our futurists are Jessica Herring, Najib Khan, Krista Davidson, Kim Camacho, Ernest Ingram, and me, Reggie Campbell. We will provide you with future changes which will affect your industry. We live in exponential times. The world is now in the midst of a major financial panic. This is not a unique occurrence in American history. In the United States, we've had roughly one every 20 years from 1819 through 2008. Banking is such a dynamic concept that it can't simply be summed up by writing a check. To understanding how banking has evolved, we have to look at its origins. So let's take an in-depth look at the history of banking. Banking has its roots in Egyptian and Greek origins, where temples protected precious metals as far back as the 18th century BC. Guidelines for banking began around the 4th century BC when Greek bankers developed guidelines for financial transactions. Rome begins to regulate banking practices in the 2nd century AD, when ancient Rome had all but perfected the administrative aspect of banking systems, and it had adopted it from the ancient Greece. 17th to the 19th centuries, national banks and paper currency emerged with the birth of the National Bank of Sweden, which is the longest standing bank today, as you know. With the classic gold standard marked economic growth. In the United States, the gold standard was adopted in 1834 with Congress's formal passage of the Gold Standard Act. The gold standard in the United States only existed for less than 100 years and was fully abandoned by the United States in 1971. Modern day global banking, growth, crisis, and recovery. By the 1970s and 80s, deregulation and privatization of government-owned enterprises came as a result of crashes tied to policies, but in place following the Depression. This spurred what we know today as our global banking. That's where our industry has been. Its history is riddled with change and marked with hundreds of examples when an organization did not look into the future environment and failed. Do not let this happen to you. Let's look at what you must do today to move your organization into 2030. The primary forces affecting and driving change in banking over the next 20 years are technology, the knowledge economy, globalization, and corporate social responsibility. We have identified these based on our scans of socio-cultural, economic, political, legal, technological, and educational environment.
In the recent years, there's been a big change in socio-cultural trends that have had a significant effect on the banking industry. That being said, many of these trends have boosted how much they will affect the industry in the coming future. These trends include a shift in demographics, globalization, and a new culture of technological knowledge and social responsibility. Let's look at them a little more. The first trend is the shift in demographics. There will be a 7% increase in the amount of workers in the workforce from the years 2010 to 2020. Due to this, there will be 5 generations working together in the workplace. However, the majority of the workers will be millennials born from the age 1977 through 1997. Currently, there are more men in the workforce than women, and this is due to things such as the glass ceiling effect. However, there have been a big shift in the amount of women entering the workforce, and women will make up 47% of the amount of workers in the industry in the year 2020. There will be a huge shift in the number of individuals in a particular ethnic group in the workplace in the coming years. The amount of Caucasian workers will decrease, and the amount of non-Caucasian workers will double. This leads us to the trend globalization. With the extreme innovation technology, the world has entered an era of globalization. Due to this fact, you will see more companies going abroad to hire, recruit, and outsource people, equipment, and jobs. Currently, the lifestyle of the customers have changed due to the banking industry letting customers wire money abroad and use debit and credit cards while in other countries. With the rise of technologies, the consumers have begun to develop a whole new culture and are starting to become more knowledgeable and socially aware of new things. The next trend is going to be the new culture of knowledge and social responsibility. Banking consumers are more knowledgeable of banking policies, procedures, regulations, and interest rates than they have ever been before. And due to this fact, the demographics has changed, that I elaborated on earlier. Millions of the technology culture, they will use the internet to find information on just about anything. Millennials are also part of the green revolution. They're more socially responsible than many have ever been before. And due to this fact, they're looking for jobs in banking organizations that are the same. They constantly use internet banking and get online statements and use online bill pay to decrease the imprint they leave on this earth. With all these changes and trends, you, the banking industry, have many threats to look out for, and you're not currently prepared for these threats at all. Our consulting firm forecasts that the banking industry's greatest growth in new workers, customers, partnerships will come from a diverse mix of women, ethnic groups, and multi-generations, and that companies' brand will have to integrate the diverse pool of sustainability. To properly prepare for your forecast, your goals need to be education. It's going to be the driving force for this. Companies will have to use their brand to be the undercurrent of their educational policies to enhance the employees' knowledge of diverse awareness and collaboration. To meet these goals, you have to use social media, mobile technology, and extensive diversity training, as my colleague Kim will go over in just a little. Different internal regulations will have to be put in place to do so, as the current regulations will not suffice. The banking industry will have to promote corporate social responsibility to attract and retain employees and to impress consumers.
Let's switch our trend to economy. Well, that leads us to the fall in the US dollar value. And how it's going to happen that the Chinese National Bank has decided an agreement with the United Arab Emirates. They're going to trade the oil in yen, which is basically Chinese currencies, worth around $5.5 billion, which was strengthen their financial cooperation to promote trade and investment and to mutually assert regional financial stability. Also, Russia and Iran have agreed to use ruble, which is the Russian currency, in their trade relationship. Russia has joined China in opposing U.S. sanctions against the Iran and fully intend to maintain a close relationship with Iran. China also pursued bilateral trade with Russia and Malaysia using the yen and ruble and the ringgit, which is basically the Malaysian currency. These nations comprising the BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, recently agreed that in their summit in the China province to establish a mutual lines of credit in local currencies. This again a very significant development, since the group of nations represent a very powerful economic bloc going into the future. Now, for us to understand the knowledge of economy, what we should do in the U.S. to revive its fortune, the U.S. overcome recessionary pressures and rejoins the top table of growth nations, we need to be ingenious, focused, and nimble. The complex socio-economic issues we face in the U.S. and elsewhere means that new approaches are needed. The challenge to rebuild our economic model around investment and innovations, but with little direct public money, is shared across the industrialized West, where the knowledge economy has become the great engine of growth. For more than generations, the number of jobs required degree level or professional skill has steadily risen, while the companies and sectors that have grown are those that one way or another way are smart and added value. Firstly, all advanced industrialized economies, it has been the technology and knowledge-based industries that have driven the rise in jobs and export. In the knowledge-based service alone, OECD, which is the Organization for Economical Cooperation Development, employment increased from 50 million in 1970 to over 150 million in 2005. Secondly, there has been an amazing inversion in companies' investment. Economists differentiate between investment and tangible asset, plant, machinery, and building, which is an intangible asset. Researching new product, build up a company, computer reputations, which is branding, investing in human skill, design computer software, and even investment in management and leadership all comes as intangible. Back in the 1970s, companies invested in intangible was 40% of their investment in tangible. We live in a world in which value lies less in making a good or service, but is in research, designing, and advertising it. Thirdly, workforce have become more skilled and much better educated in 1970. Most in the US, workforce has no qualification or only a tiny share has degrees. Today, almost 90% have some sort of qualification, and up to a third has a degree or equivalent.
And now we're going to pass it off to our colleague Krista Davidson down in Orlando, who's going to be Skyping with us about the political and legal changes in the industry.
Hi, my name is Krista, and I'm here to speak to you about political and legal changes happening in the banking industry. Hank Paulson, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, has chosen to adopt Gordon Brown's rescue plan. The plan is to put American taxpayers' money directly back into the banks. Even though more supervision of the banks may be required, there should not be any new rules and regulations put into effect that will do more harm than good. Paulson says, "It is not a shortage of regulations that has been the problem. They have been in the wrong area and overseen by the wrong people. This is a time for simpler and more transparent regulations that work effectively and are administered properly. In the future, politicians must be cautious when convincing themselves that they are able to regulate an end to all financial crisis." Another change is global instability. Global instability, created by regulatory change and political unrest, will potentially disrupt organizational structures throughout the banking industry. Some organizations will use this as an opportunity to redefine their strategies. For the foreseeable future, regulatory change will be a way of life. It's important to look past compliance and to know how these developments will affect costs and organizational structure. A third change is product agility. Over the years, the banking industry has slowly evolved into a customer-centric industry. To make this possible, banks have made huge investments in core banking systems, online sales, self-service, and customer relationship management. The next step for them is product agility. As banks continue to learn more and more about their customers, they will be able to customize the products and services they offer to better fit their needs. In the future, banks are looking for better ways to package and price their products. They are also looking to grow organically by selling more products to their most profitable customers. The deeper the customer relationship, the lower employee turnover should be in the future.
Alright, so we need to talk about technology now. Advances in technology are currently and will continue to impact several environments in the banking industry, both directly and indirectly in big ways. People will be concerned with the way banks use personal data in this new world of streamlined connectivity, which will lead to new government regulations to protect customers' privacy and prevent banks from abusing customer data. Social learning platforms and school systems is preparing Generation 2020 and future generations to be comfortable with a virtual environment. Now let's take a look at how technological advances are changing the face of banking for both consumers and employees. Some of the forces driving these changes, as you can see here, are the ubiquity of mobile technology. We've noticed that with the evolution of internet and mobile technologies, society has come to expect unlimited access anywhere at any time. This is kind of an image of Uber connectivity and what that might look like. There are 1 billion PC chips on the internet currently, 2 million emails per second, 1 million IM messages per second, 8 terabytes per second traffic, 65 billion phone calls per year, 255 exabytes magnetic storage, and 1 million voice queries per hour, 2 billion location nodes activated, and 600 billion RFID tags currently in use. And according to Jan Meister and Carrie Williard, your mobile devices will become the primary means of accessing the internet by the year 2020. Now, some of the current trends that already incorporate some of these technologies are mobile banking. Mobile banking is a technique used by most banks, and they have already adopted this to provide convenience and add value to customers' banking experience. And this is looking like internet access via PC or laptop. It could be text banking for people who don't have smartphones. They can send old-fashioned text messages to the bank and get their balances and inquiries. And also apps for customers who do have smartphones. They can access their accounts via these apps and make transfers on smartphones. Today, in Barclays' flagship Piccadilly Circus branch in London and Citibank's tech-savvy branch in New York's Union Square, these first-generation facial recognition, retina scanning, fingerprint, palm recognition, and voice recognition softwares are being used to help identify customers, prevent identity theft, and identify terrorists or catch criminals. Now, those are all examples of biotechnology. Basically, the future of banking is going to look like a combination of biotechnology and mobile technology. And when you combine and enhance these biometrics and mobile technologies, this is going to enable a platform for virtual banking. And that will be the future trend, and branches should be eliminated altogether. Customers will want banks to provide them with access to their accounts and various financial services through these interactive mobile projection technologies, and that way they can see their account statistics and track their spending virtually right in front of them in an interactive way. On-demand financial advising will be the way that a customer and financial advisor will meet and discuss financial planning. The same mobile biometric technology can be used to identify both the employee and the customer to mitigate identity theft and customer impersonation. And a new way of transactions will occur. Transactions will be processed using the same type of technology. In stores, RFID tags will be on every item for sale, and when customers get to the checkout, all they have to do is provide a fingerprint, a palm, face, or retina scan, and if you combine that with maybe a statement of authorization with voice recognition, you have a double, biometric way to make sure that your information is secure and that you're actually making that purchase. And it's important that you work with retail companies to integrate these systems for compatibility so that customers can use these things with ease. Now, the goals from these forecasts, you need to invest in the most advanced mobile biometric technology to make these customers feel safe using the virtual banking system. We have a long way to go in that area. We need to make sure that it is safe and secure. And as mentioned in the 2020 workplace, you can use these same technologies to be a competitive employer by providing employees with the mobility and social learning platforms they look for in the future workplace that allows you to remain competitive and attract the top talent in the world.
Let's now focus on current educational trends. Forces at work in the banking industry that will require innovation and the forecast we have for corporate curriculum. Recognize today that the nation's education system is facing three major challenges: access to good teaching, tight budgets, and boosting student achievement. As a result, schools are exploring and tapping into digital learning as a way to connect students. Kindergarten through 12th grade are facilitating education through Learning 2.0 computer-based learning programs. Colleges are facilitating education through Learning 2.0 computer-based e-learning webinars. College students are using social media outlets to build a community of people online in which they can communicate with acquaintances, professors, and working professionals. Social software has pervaded the corporate world, igniting a shift toward social learning and business collaboration. And finally, that we are entering Learning 3.0, or social learning with the use of social media, real-time feedback, and simulations. Today, we also see forces in banking driving opportunities for social learning platforms. Today's banking leaders need to keep up with the fast pace of change if they are to stay ahead of non-banking competitors, such as PayPal and Western Union, all of whom are moving quickly to take advantage of changing consumer preferences. There is an opportunity for those who can provide end-to-end solutions and improve collaboration to foster standardization and open platforms. The private banking landscape is now increasingly characterized by clients who have built their wealth through entrepreneurship or senior positions in corporations. This new breed of client are better informed, often more sophisticated in their approaches, and more actively involved in the management of their wealth. An organization can build its business model around this trend through a social platform that allows these individuals to meet with peers in confidential groups, challenge each other's portfolios, and discuss various issues related to wealth. Banks also need to address concerns such as security, privacy, and the use of advanced technology by employees, merchants, and by consumers. Overcoming these hurdles will take new business models that encourage partnerships, enable companies to play new roles, and deliver new services. Our forecast for corporate curriculum will be a social learning ecosystem designed to develop new skills, support and enhance team knowledge sharing, drive collaboration, and improve innovation. You need to foster digitally literate customers, merchants, and employees who can navigate a virtual banking world, and empower a new workforce of social learning and collaboration that sparks innovation in the fast-paced market of banking. To meet these goals, banks must work to provide less digitally savvy generations of employees, merchants, and customers the support they need by designing and teaching online navigation and literacy of their sites. As previously mentioned by my colleague Jessica, in order to enhance learning and empower employees, it will be critical for organizations to stay on top of the learning edge by implementing social learning technologies and crowdsourcing techniques. Social software and Web 2.0 tools such as discussion forums, wikis, blogs, photo sharing, social benchmarking, and real-time chat provide employees with endless outlets to communicate and share ideas. As previously mentioned by my colleague Ernest, shifts in demographics such as a projected increase in the number of women, Hispanics, and other minority groups in the workforce, as well as multiple generations in the workforce, will require companies to provide extensive diversity training to cover topics of ethnic diversity, gender diversity, and age diversity.
Are you ready for change? Now is the time to start your future by focusing on education for your customers and staff through social 3.0 learning platforms. You have to look at the economy and the global landscape as population and economies grow in Brazil, Russia, India, and China. You need to focus on advancing technologies. Focus on biometric security tools. You need to partner with retail companies to integrate these technologies. The key focus needs to be on your people, your most valued asset. You must hire, engage, and retain tomorrow's top talent. People are critical for your success, and without them, you cannot become a sustainable organization. Thank you for your time. Your future is now.
Woo-wee!
Irony, you are the best, brother. Ernest.
For sure, for sure. I think it was a damn good team effort. Hi.
I think that was a really good team effort too.
Can I be on there again?
No, give me a new video thing.
Somebody likes to be a camera hog.
I'm the camera hog. If you